Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me as always is WillPower and Tony Snap. Before we begin our show, I want to throw out a shout out to All Talk No Bach. Their Spotify show comes out on Tuesdays, so go ahead and check that out. I'll go ahead and put the link below so you guys can listen to them. They're really cool. I reached out to them and they reached out back, and that's really cool. We want to support each other. And they're a baseball podcast like us, so go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and start our show. It's a fantasy edition, and this is the third baseman's, right? Are you guys excited for this one?
Hell yeah, dude.
Damn.
Been waiting for this one.
Was it hard for you guys to pick like number one, or you guys are not even looking at the standings for the fantasy picks? Are you guys just going with your own, or you guys are just going to pick from what's available to you guys?
I think...
I go ahead.
You're like, go ahead.
I think number one overall was a really easy choice for me. I don't agree with any of the experts. I think the experts are basing too much on the 2020 season, which was not even half a season. So I don't base my own rankings on 2020. I kind of add 2020 to 2019 and kind of combine the two seasons together, so that way I can come up with my own rankings.
Nice. Yeah. Love it. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I agree. I don't with Will that like I'm not going with what the experts are saying. I'm doing my own from what I've seen in the past years. But I would say I had a hard time, not necessarily my top three, but as far as like sleepers and comebacks and a bust, I feel like I had a hard time picking up because there's so many good candidates for all those.
I agree. I agree. So let's go ahead and give the audience our top three, and we'll go ahead and start with you, Will. I mean, you already said like it was no brainer to pick the number one, so let's just go ahead and do that. Give us your number one pick.
It's the same guy that it's been for the past 5 seasons in a row, and that's Nolan Renato. And I don't understand why anyone would choose anyone else other than Nolan Renato. And this is so crazy to me that his ADP is the third round. They're waiting until number 30 overall to pick this guy up. I really don't understand that, because this is the type of guy that has almost MVP caliber seasons every single year. He did have a down 2020, but I mean, 60 games, if you add the 2020 season to the 2019 season, he was still amazing, man. 2019, 41 home runs and a 315 average. And then if you combine that with his 253 average from 2020, you're still hovering around 300 batting average.
Wow. And what you said, 30 or what pick was he in? What
third round?
He's number 30 overall, third round.
But his name so his name by itself would go in the second round just by hearing Nolan Renato, right?
Exactly. That's what I assume it should be. But apparently these experts don't agree with us. So.
Well, we have our experts in this Tony Snap. Power. You guys give it to our fans, man. Like, Nolan Renato, I'm just gonna say badass hitter in Colorado or anywhere he goes. Like, Tony, do you have him as number one?
Of course. There's no to me, there's no reason why he should be going in the third round. It's crazy. He should be going early round one. To me, he's a top 10 player regardless.
Yeah.
And to be honest, just because he had a down season last year, which was, I think they didn't even play like 60 games like most MLB teams did. I think they had like a COVID case, so they had to shorten their season even from the shortened season. I think they only played maybe like 40 something games.
I think I see here 48 games. So
yeah, So even that is a small sample. I've always known Nolan Renato to kind of have a slow start to the season and then kind of pick it up as he goes.
Yeah.
So until he starts showing like true regression, I'm picking him up as my number one regardless. I mean, ever since he started, he's been an all-star. Yeah. And he's averaging about 30 home runs. 40 home runs. Nobody wants to take them. Thank you. I'll do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. But I don't think no one's gonna not pick Nolan Renato number one because his name is out there and he's in Colorado and he's just like I said, a badass third baseman. I don't think he would go later than the first round. His numbers are incredible, and the theme for you guys, what I've noticed throughout, we already went through the pitchers, catchers, first base, second, and short, and now we're on third. What I noticed from you guys is that you guys are picking consistency over what the experts are saying. So that's really, really interesting and really good for our viewers, because, the experts might say this is happening, but you guys are actually digging deep, and that's something really good to hear. So before we move on, do you guys have anything else to say about Nolan Renato, or we hit everything on the button?
I wanted to say is there are some guys that are going before Nolan Renato that really should not be on anywhere close to this list. Like Ozzy Albies, right? Great second baseman, but he's going one pick before Nolan Renato. You got Bo Bichette at number 23 overall, 7 picks before Nolan Renato.
Yeah.
You got Adalberto Mondesi at number 26 overall. Like, what are you guys thinking? Putting Adalberto Mondesi above Nolan Renato? Man. Yeah. I understand the position scarcity, right? Which is very important. You do want to get a shortstop kind of early on, or else you're going to miss out on one of those bigger names. But still, to pick him up before Arenado, oh my God, that is ridiculous. That is beyond ridiculous to me.
And I think that was your buzz, right, Tony, for the shortstop edition?
Exactly.
Right?
Just because he's going around those high level names, as Will mentioned, like there's no way I would be choosing Mondesi if Arenado is still on the board. There's no way. And honestly, like Arenado shouldn't even be even going past the first round. He shouldn't. He shouldn't. He's a top 15 player. He should go either in the first round, early second, like really early. Anything after than that, I would say is a steal. So you see him in mid second, late second, pick him up. He won't disappoint.
This guy's only going to be 30 years old at the beginning of the season. 30 years old is a great time for all these hitters that are considered elite. They just got their man strength, a couple of years ago, and they're going to keep that at least for another year or two. These players don't really start slowing down very much until their age like 33 season, right? That's when you have to start like really thinking like, okay, maybe I need to move him down on my rankings a little bit. But 30 years old is so young, This guy has at least 3 more seasons in his prime.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you guys. I know Renato should be number 1 third baseman, and hands down. Are you guys ready to move to number 2?
Yeah.
Tony, give me your number 2, man.
My number 2 is Manny Machado.
Okay.
I feel like he, like Will mentioned, I think the last episode, that he's coming into his own. We know that he had a really bad season with the Dodgers, and just because of what he's done in the past as well, he's been really consistent. He averages about 30 plus home runs every season, not counting the Dodger season. But I feel like he's consistent, and he's got a great glove. To be honest, I feel like he's always going to be number 2 if Arenado is there. I don't understand. Right now, they currently have him ahead of Arenado as number 25 overall, where Arenado's number 27 from what I see. But yeah, I like the supporting cast around him. The Slam Diego Padres. I feel like
it could be the slump Diego Padres. You never know.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
But bold prediction or what, Carlos?
No, man, I can't say that. I just don't know. On paper, they look good, but you never know. At the season starts, they might.
True.
Injuries, you don't
they just re-signed Jurickson Profar. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah,
3 years. That's 3 years, much, man. That's too much.
I agree.
think so.
That's too much. But he does have the supporting cast, and Will picked him as a shortstop actually because he's eligible for that. He picked him in the shortstop category, and I don't disagree with that pick because he has versatility, right? You can be either slot him at short, you can slot him at third. And that's a really good pick, Tony. Number 2, Will, do you agree with that one?
Going into my rankings earlier, when we were figuring out who our top third basemen were going to be, I did have Machado as my number 2. But actually, just earlier today, I changed my mind. I did a little bit of digging, and I know you guys are going to hate me for this one, man, but I'm going to go Alex Bregman, number 2.
Man.
I know. Astros, right?
It's not a bad pick.
Let me tell you why, man. This guy's going number 31 overall, right after Nolan Renato, right?
Okay.
This is extremely late for this guy. So this past season, he had a 242 batting average. It wasn't too great. I think he had only 6 home runs. That's really low for this guy who hit 41 the season before.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't know if 2017 was the only year that the Astros were cheating. It could have been 2018. It could have been 2019. We don't know because there's no proof for 18 and 19, only 17. But when I was doing my little research, I was looking at his home road splits, right?
Okay.
So his road home runs, he actually has more home runs on the road than he does at home. And he has a higher batting average in 2 different seasons. In 2017 and 2019, he had a higher batting average than he did at home.
Okay.
So if the Astros were cheating in 2017, 18, and 19, it was only in their home ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where the cameras were in their center field ballpark. But in 2017, he hit 278 at home and 290 away. 2018, he hit 299 at home and 273 away. So that kind of switched up a little bit. But then 2019, he hit 278 at home and 315 away. That's a huge difference right there. 278 at home and 315 away. And then if you look at his home runs in 2019, 16 at home, 25 away. So if this guy was cheating at home, we never know because we weren't there. There's no video proof. But just looking at his away numbers where he had no opportunity to even figure out what pitches are coming.
You can take that trash can everywhere.
You can take the trash can.
Yeah, but they don't have those cameras in center field, right?
Okay.
I mean, you could say like buzzers and all that other stuff where the trash cans weren't available. But, I mean, a 315 batting average at every away batting park for the season, like that's amazing, man, to be able to hit that well in other ballparks. And that was a full season where it wasn't just the Astros playing in their own division and the National League West, right? That was 2019 where they played everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, that's really interesting, Will. That's really cool that you digged up all that information, man. Alex Breckman is an Astros, and we hate on the Astros. Every Astro doesn't mean George Springer went to the Blue Jays because I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to get beamed,
Yeah.
But
they want that cloud hanging over them to be gone.
Yeah, they want it gone.
Eventually, they're all gonna move on.
Yeah,
I feel.
And
Maybe
Alex
the only
Breckman
guy
is
that's
actually not that bad though. Like I think a lot of people have been having them ranked number 1 and just like MLB overall, right? As a third baseman. Not in fantasy. I'm talking about defense, and you're talking about batting. They have him up there, and why not fantasy for number 2? Is not a bad pick. He does need to step it up from what he did last year. That's for sure, because he didn't play. I don't know if he's one of those players that will pick it up later on in the season. 60 games is not enough, right?
You got to figure it was the season after that Mike Fiers blew the whistle, right? So there was a lot of pressure on these guys. These guys were getting heckled every single game. It was a mind game for these guys. And I think, the time has gone by. The Dodgers just won the World Series. So I know a lot of Dodger fans are still really pissed about the 2017 season, but our souls have calmed down a little bit, mainly because the Dodgers finally won. It took them a long time. 2017 should have been ours, but we have that title now. So we can rest a little bit easier. The Astros did so bad during the regular season, so that made us feel a little bit better also.
I don't know about you though. I'm not over that 2017 because it really broke my heart.
I'm never gonna forgive them, right?
No. Of course, It's just I can't be and say, hey, the 2017 didn't ever happen just because we won the 2020. No, it's still there and it still hurts. It still feels like, oh man,
could have had 2 titles.
We could have had 2
Had
titles.
3 titles. You guys forget about 2018.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
The Red
2018,
Sox.
the Red
Hey, but you know
Sox,
what,
though.
though?
Could have
Like,
gone back to
The
back
Red
to
Sox
back.
were such a better team than the Dodgers in 2018.
Yeah.
I don't think that the Dodgers really had a chance against what the Red Sox were kind of bringing to the table. Every single Dodgers hitter was just in some kind of a slump during that World Series, you know.
Not only that though, Will, like
They cheated.
we're forgetting that the Dodgers went through the NL like nothing. No, they struggled against the Brewers, and they had MVP players on that Brewers team. So yeah, it went to Game 7, and the Dodgers just won it. When they got to the World Series, I'm like, okay, they got to the World Series, but I don't think they're gonna beat the Red Sox. The Red Sox was just on it, and that's just being as honest as I can as a baseball fan. I know I'm a Dodger fan, but a baseball fan first, right? And you saw the caliber team that the Boston Red Sox had, but that 2017, it was like, no, the Dodgers are gonna take it. I felt like that was ours. They cheated it, and then the commissioner didn't do anything about it. But that's another topic, man. We're getting off a topic with that, and we can just keep talking about that forever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fantasy, you got to put emotions aside, because in the end, it's all about the W, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to win your league. You're trying to win some money, and if Alex Bregman's the better choice, then Alex Bregman's the better choice. You know. You're not rooting for his team to win. You're rooting for him to do well in the regular season.
That's a really good point. And do not go ahead and put emotions to it and be like, I'm not picking them up because this and that. No, you're getting points. You're either, if it's a categories league or a points league, and this man's available, like, why not pick him up? If it's in right there in your pick, go ahead and do it. Do you agree with that pick, Tony?
Yeah, I agree with it so much that I actually have Alex Breckman as my number 3.
Oh, okay.
So I agree with everything Will said. He is a great player. He had 40 home runs in the 2019, right? 2018 he had 31.
Which is still good.
Heck yeah. Especially for somebody who's eligible both at shortstop and third base. Someone that can hit 30 home runs, 40 home runs, and is eligible in 2 spots. His value is just through the roof. And for him to be going at like mid round 2, where I feel like he's also a top 15 player who should be going in the first round. A lot of people have Alex Breckman ahead of Arenado, which I think is just silly. A lot of these experts, when I look at these standings, it's just like, why? Why? Alex Bregman is my number 3, and I agree with Will completely. I had Machado and Bregman kind of just tossing up, but I kind of chose Machado just because of everybody around him, the hype, everything like that. I feel like he is going to have another great season, and I really hope Bregman also comes out, because I picked him up in the past before and never had any issues. You just put him in at any position, and forget about it, because he's going to get you your 25-30 points every week.
Yeah, he's solid.
Did we just have a rant on the Astros again? It feels like it just happens, man.
They're so
every
good,
Dodger
man.
fan feels like that, though. Every Dodger fan feels like that when we talk about certain Astros. It's just it feels like it clicks in the mind, like, man, they cheated, and it's just frustrating, man. It's frustrating, and I mean,
why it's so frustrating, not only as a Dodgers fan but as a baseball fan. It's not just that that Manfred didn't hold down any punishment for the players. He didn't really give any punishment to the team as a whole. He fined them $5 million and took away one of their draft.
Yeah, it sucked.
Picks. That is not near enough, man. This obviously came from upper management, the front office, or some of the coaches or something. It's not like players are going to go and put the cameras in center field. It took someone that actually had to come up with this plan to hire someone, a cameraman, to go and put them in the stands. Correa didn't do it. Bregman didn't do it. Altuve didn't do it. They just went along with it because that's what, their coaches told them to do.
Yeah.
And as a baseball player, you do what your coach tells you to do. Now, I'm not saying like, they had the right to do any of that.
It was
I just
Correa.
wish a little more punishment was given to the team, not necessarily individual players. Individual players, like, you don't want to go against your other teammates, right? You want to be a team player. And if the rest of the team is going along with it, you kind of go along with it too. That's why Mike Fiers didn't say anything until he was off the team, right?
Yeah. Hey, we can talk centuries about this because we're just like, man, seriously, you said Carlos Correa, Tony, right now. You just said it, and that was your comeback for shortstop.
No. I said
your sleeper.
No, what's his name? The manager.
Oh,
Alex Correa. Huh?
Alex Cora?
Yeah, that's who it was, man. That's who it was. It has to have been him and Beltran.
Carlos
Beltran
there was a play. Fired. Hey, Carlos Beltran got fired from the Mets. Like he got fired on his day off, dude. I remember that. Will, we had a show on that, dude, and we were like, hey, Carlos Beltran got fired from the Mets. Like, oh my God. That was your number 3, Tony. So
yeah, Alex Breckman.
Give us your number 3. Well, then it just
so my number 3 is exactly opposite as Tony's was. I'm going Manny Machado number 3.
Yeah.
Just like Tony said that he was kind of deciding whether it was Machado or Bregman 2 and 3. I did the same thing, man. I had them switched earlier on, and I switched them today. Just a couple hours before we started recording.
Okay.
The only reason why I switched Alex Bregman before Machado is because I did that research and looked at his home road splits. I didn't think about doing that a couple days ago, but after I did that research and I just realized like he is such a solid hitter. Mm-hmm. Machado's kind of been up and down throughout his career. He's always been good in the power department. 16 home runs in 2020, 32 the year before, 37 the year before, 33 the year before, and 37 the year before. So he's always been really good with power numbers. Yeah. But the batting average is the one that really kind of goes up and down. 2016, amazing season. He hit 294. 2017, 259. 2018, 297. 2019, 256. So it's like every other year he's going up and down, up and down. And with the 304 batting average in 2020, I kind of want to just stick with that trend and maybe assume he's going to be a little bit lower. 304 was actually his best batting average that he's ever had in his career for a complete season, but it wasn't really a complete season. It was only 60 games, and he played 47 of them. So there were 13 games that he didn't play. And to hold a 340 batting average, his on-base percentage is actually really good. It's 370, so almost 70 points higher than his batting average. So he's definitely striking out a lot less. He had 128 strikeouts in 2019, but only 37 in 2020. So if you do the math, his strikeout percentage is definitely less than it was in 2019. So maybe the hitting coaches are helping him a little bit in San Diego rather than in Baltimore. So, but he's also getting a little bit older. He's understanding the different aspects of the game and getting different opinions from different coaches. It's always great to have someone on the outside looking in, right? Yeah. So, it like we always talk about change of scenery. Like when we were talking about Chris Bryant, maybe he just needs a change of scenery and get some different coaching to kind of help him out. And I think that's what happened to Machado also.
Yeah,
so
it
really
does.
Could go either way, right?
Yeah, it could go either way. And Tony, why did you choose him number 2 over? Like Will was saying that he might have a down year because he had a 304 batting average this last year, and in the 60 game season, and he didn't even play all those 60 games, right? Why did you pick him second instead of third like Will did?
Well, I really like his. He's got a much bigger sample size than Bregman.
Yeah.
Bregman's only had 2 seasons where he hit above 30 home runs, as opposed to where Machado has several.
Yeah.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons where he hit five seasons where he hit above 30 home runs. So that was one of the main reasons. And what I also take into account when I look at my fantasy players who's around him? You know, is he gonna get more runs? Is he gonna get more RBIs? Is he gonna get, you know what I mean? So with the Astros just getting rid of Springer, that was kind of what made me lean more towards San Diego, because San Diego right now is throwing money at the situation trying to win a World Series. So actually, first they got to get over the Dodger hump, you know. So you don't win the World Series unless you beat the Dodgers. So they're throwing a lot of money out there, and I mean, it's going to be a really disappointing season if they don't get to the World Series. You know, so if they don't beat the Dodgers, it's a bust for them because of all the money they've thrown in there. So and just basically just who's around San Diego right now, you know. I feel like they got a lot of more momentum than Houston. Houston is going to be probably still big time playoff contenders just because of where they're placed. Yeah, you know, who they're playing against. But that's my main train of thought as to why I chose Machado over Bregman.
That's really good though. That's really good. And when we're digging into it, that's where it counts. That's where we're giving our viewers this opinions. You guys are good at what you're doing at fantasy baseball. You guys won your championships because you're doing all these things. You know, you're thinking about what I need to do to win it, right? I'm not discrediting the Astros, you know, just yet, because Michael Brownlee just signed with the Astros again. You know, they did lose Springer, but it doesn't mean the Astros are gonna, you know, hit rock bottom. They have Justin Verlander that he's gonna pitch 2021. Will, you've been saying that he was gonna be out, but it looks like he's gonna come back for 2021.
But he's definitely gonna be on an innings limit.
Innings limit, yeah, innings limit, but still. Just hearing Justin Verlander, Justin Verlander is going to pitch against whatever team is going into town. Just the name itself is kind of like, is he going to have to get good stuff? What kind of stuff is he going to have? It still puts fear in hitters' minds, right?
It does. But when you think about the batters' stats for the Astros, Verlander's presence doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it does because he's a veteran and he's going to be in there to like motivate these guys. But as a whole, losing Springer is going to be more detrimental than gaining Verlander.
Okay.
I think that, you know, losing your amazing leadoff hitter, Springer Dinger, right? That's going to hit 300 with 25 to 30 home runs. That's huge. That's a huge loss for the Astros. They also lost Reddick. Whatever. He was never anything special.
I think that's your boy. You like Reddick, don't you?
And then we thought they lost Brantley, right? But then they ended up signing him for another 2 years. So keeping Brantley on the team, he's a great leadoff hitter. He hits 300 every single season. He could take that leadoff spot. So I don't think that losing Springer is really going to hurt Bregman's stats too much. I think that slotting Brantley into number one, he gets on base a lot. Bregman's going to get a lot of RBIs because of who's hitting in front of him.
Well, either way, I love your picks, and you guys digged in. You guys actually gave our viewers what we want to see. Anything else before we go ahead and sign out? Because I know we gave you our top threes, and you know, tune in for the next show for sure to go ahead and talk about our comeback, sleeper, and bust. But anything else you guys want to talk about before we sign out on this show?
Tony?
No. Like I kind of agree with Will as to like kind of like not losing Springer, it being a big deal, especially with like Alvarez and
Yordan Alvarez coming back. That's
and what's his name? Kyle Tucker actually coming through and playing. So I mean, we'll see what it shows up, but I just feel it's a toss up, you know. Number 2, number 3, because either of these guys can be
a top player.
Yeah, and they're probably primed to be number 1 too. You know, if Renato falls off, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of these top 3 that we picked.
Yeah, and that's what we want to give. We want to go ahead and give you the top 3. We don't just want to give you slow, you know, some garbage player out there that he's been in the league 1 year and then you're going to pick him number 1. No, I mean, these rankings are not all that great right now. What you guys are saying, the experts are just throwing them out there because of that 2020 season. But we will wait until we see what happens. But you're giving good picks, and I love that. If there's nothing else to say, I mean, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. This is WillPower and Tony Snap. Signing out. You guys. See ya.
See you guys.
See.